one last thing that I want to leave you with is what's a good recap for selecting the right contractor for you. Again, I've mentioned multiple times along the the session and the discussion that the single most important factor in your transition experience, it's not the equipment, it's not what they've done before, it's who you feel comfortable working with, right? Based on factors that are important to you. The best or the right decision is to go solar. The best decision is to go with whom you feel you can trust and they're going to be there to back you up. So let's look at some of those things that are important when you're selecting your contractor. Number one, credentials. You want to have third-party credentials or things that will tell you more or less that this is a good contractor that's been certified by looking at, you have the NABCET certification. They might be also embraced and known in the industry for the kind of work that they do. For example, the Solar Energy Industries Association, CN in Florida is FLASIA. So that's very important. Have the credentials, what kind of certifications they have, whether they have an engineering background or they have a contracting background, other than just being a sales organization, because there's nothing wrong with sales organizations. There's really good sales consultants out there, but just be mindful that who they're working with might not be the same kind of quality or the same kind of work ethic as the person that's actually selling you or talking to you about the system. Credibility and expertise. You want to know what kind of work they've done in your area or somewhere near you. Very important to understand how long they've been in business. Solar in Florida, it's more or less a new industry. It's probably the oldest contractor, hasn't been out here for more than 15 years, more or less on average. So a company that has over 6 to 8 years, it's really not a new company, right? So anything above that, I would say it's a really trusted and credible source. Why? Because they've been able to sustain the business throughout these ups and downs that we see in the solar coaster, right, in the industry. So expertise, know how they work, have a third party that actually certifies them as well. Transparency, communication is very important. Along the way, it's about communicating and understanding those concerns and those things that need to be clear for you. So they should not be shy about talking in regards to the problems that might arise from solar. They need to make an assessment and tell you, well, based on this or X, Y, and Z, I suggest that this is the best option for you. Not because that's the option that they want to push, although a sales consultant might be biased towards X, Y, or Z, but understanding why they're mentioning or why they're guiding you that way is very important. So just being transparent throughout, it's very important. Okay, if you ask them a tough question, just see how they react to that, and you can see who you're talking to based on their reaction, right? Number 4, addressing roof conditions and insurance questions, along with I should also say other concerns, right? Because they should be able to answer any kind of question. If they really are an expert in this subject matter, they should be able to answer any question in regards to solar or the transition to solar. And again, no questions should go unanswered on that. So addressing the roof conditions, if the roof, for example, it's a 20-year-old roof, they should be suggesting that you change the roof as you go solar. It's your decision if you don't want to change it, but just be mindful that there are issues that might arise with the roof later down the road that you're going to have to uninstall and reinstall solar, and it's going to cost you more money. If you have a particular type of roof that is blocked by the trees and you have a lot of shading, how does that impact the design? Are they going to be very transparent to tell you that, oh yeah, this system size is good, but however you have other constraints that are not allowing you for the optimum solar design that you wish to have. Insurance, very, very important. They need to be clear about the different tier sizes that the utilities have different requirements for. Tier 1 typically in Florida will be up to 11.76 kilowatts DC or 10 kilowatts AC. What it means is the utility does not require an insurance policy for you to interconnect the system to them. If you go above tier 1, that means 11.76 or more, they will typically require a $1 million insurance policy. Do not shy away from going solar because of that. It's just a requirement and a hurdle that we have to get through in order to interconnect the system. Okay, reputation and testimonials. This is very important. Why? Because you want a third party, you want somebody that's unbiased, whether it's friends and family, which is the other part, reputation, testimonials. Look at the reviews. Reviews are very important. Don't just look at 2 or 3 of them. This is a big investment. I will look through a lot of them and you typically want to find the lowest one to see what they have to say. There are cases where you'll see very awkward reviews. Don't pay attention to those. If you see something that makes sense and it's meaningful, just understand and ask them, by the way, I was looking at your reviews. Why is that person, rating you less than a 5-star review out of 5 stars, right? And they need to be transparent about the situation for you in order for you to be comfortable moving forward, right? Friends and other trusted references. After you've done those reviews, you can also ask for references. Okay, I want to make the decision. I want to go solar, but I want to talk to 2 or 3 of your customers. Are you able to provide 2 or 3 emails or phone numbers? Or maybe I can visit them and see what their experience has been like, and I want to look at their systems. Feel free to do that. You should be able to do that. But again, that should be the only thing that's keeping you away from going ahead and transitioning to solar. Do ask them for those references to see if they can answer any concerns that you might have from an unbiased point of view. Last but not least, pricing. And I'm not saying pricing on the low side, because again, you don't get what you don't pay for. It's not, or the opposite, you get what you pay for. If you're looking for the absolute, least expensive or least amount of investment, just don't buy it, get a lease. You'll save money, you don't own it, you move forward with your life. You go solar, you get the benefit of savings. But again, if you're price driven, I will probably suggest something like that. Long term, you want to own it. That's a better option. Depends on where the industry is, where the inflation is. The interest rates will vary this significantly. Okay, so it's not that lease is better than loan. It depends on your situation. It depends on where we are from an inflation standpoint, interest rates, the cost of the products and the materials. So every stage is different, or every situation is different. Again, very important. If you are price driven, you don't get what you don't pay for. Why am I saying this? Because you might think you get a good deal, but there's so much more that you do not know about solar that you think you're doing the right decision, and it ends up costing you a lot more money later down the road. So just be mindful that you don't necessarily want to go for the least expensive, but there are so many other factors that you need to consider before just looking at price per watt. And I personally hate when people, what's your price per watt? It's like you're only asking one piece of the entire puzzle. That doesn't, it's important because we're gonna do an investment, but it's not the single most important. So look at all those things. We're gonna give you a clear version of this so that you can take it and you can have a reference moving forward as you go through your solar exploration. Again, go solar, pay only solar.